Thank you so much for joining today. Let's start today's practice by coming down into a comfortable seated or constructive rest position. So if you're in the chair, you're going to bring yourself all the way to the back of the chair so your spine is supported and your feet are firmly planted on the ground. Knees are bent. And if you're on the mat, we'll come all the way down to the ground on our backs. Also bending our knees and making sure our feet are firmly planted on the floor. You can keep your knees apart or even let the knees start to come together and kiss, starting to soften into whatever position feels like a restful position in this moment. And I invite you to close your eyes or maybe to simply soften your gaze, letting your vision blur over and your eyelids to grow a little heavier. Your shoulders start to relax down the spine. Your breathing start to slow down and become a little more intentional. Noticing our hips against the surface that they're resting on, whether that's the chair or the floor. And even noticing where the feet make contact with the surfaces as well. We start to settle here into a little bit of momentary stillness, or what feels like stillness in this moment. And as we settle here, we'll take just a moment to scan through the body, noticing the physical, mental, or emotional sensations that are floating around like snowflakes inside our bodies. We don't want to offer these special snowflakes any judgment, but instead we're offering them our awareness, maybe a gentle breath or two as we continue on our scan, maybe picking up something different, acknowledging it, breathing into it, and then moving on. We'll continue to breathe in just this passion pattern, soft and gentle, intentional, allowing the body to find a little bit less tension, a little bit more relaxation, more calm, more stillness. Today, we're going to talk about trusting that peace is your natural state of being. Sometimes in the hurried day-to-day of life, we forget what's under the surface. We start to think that we are the chaos, that we are the worry, that we are whatever those special snowflakes are bouncing inside. But just like a snow globe is clear after the snow settles, underneath all your daily struggles, triggers, or suffering, there's peace. Our minds are very much like a snow globe. Our heads get clouded with thoughts and feelings that pull us away from our natural, peaceful state of being. But we can remember that peace is actually our true nature. so that when we do get shaken up like a snow globe, we know that the snow of our struggles won't last forever. And we know that peace is our natural state. And this keeps hope alive. Peace is your natural state of being. So as we breathe here for just a few more moments, start to recall the last time that you were upset, but then out of nowhere, you smiled or even burst out laughing. And remember that that moment is proof that underneath there is peace. Great job today. Tapping in to that idea that bursting into laughter can be a way of tapping into our natural peacefulness. Today's breathing exercise will be a laughing breath. We'll take this for a few cycles. This breath is really great at cultivating joy, bringing out the inner child or even the inner peacefulness. And it promotes optimism and positivity. With this breath, we inhale deeply, then we exhale. As we exhale, we let out a combination of quick bursts of air that come out and maybe even finish with a little vocal laughter as feels comfortable for you. And we'll take this round of breath for about 3 to 5 rounds on your own. Sometimes you might feel like you need to fake it to make it a little, and that's okay too. Just see what it feels like to fill those lungs with air and start to spark a little inner peacefulness, a little joy with your exhale. Last one. And then start to allow your breathing to find its natural rhythm without changing it or altering it in any way. But as you do, let yourself take this moment to scan through the body one more time, noticing the snowflakes that are currently fluttering around in your snow globe. We'll then take a moment to offer ourselves just a little bit of gratitude that you took time out of your busy week to slow it down and settle into a little stillness. As you're ready, start to wiggle fingers and toes, flutter the eyes open, and we'll start to shake up that snow globe with a little bit of a active movement. If you're on the chair, go ahead and come up to the edge of the chair so you're still seated on the chair, but your legs are mostly off. And from this position, we're going to come into a ball shape. So if you're in the chair, you have the option of leaning back and bringing your knees towards you or of staying with the hips in neutral and leaning forward, torso coming towards your legs. And if you're on the mat, bring those knees in towards your torso. Find a little rock, or maybe left to right. Maybe shake the head a little bit. Just feel free to take any settling movement in your ball shape. Great job. With our next exhale, we'll return to our seated mountain or our constructive rest if you're on the floor. And if you're on the mat, go ahead and tuck those heels in just as close to your hips as you can. We're going to take a little bit of a penguin, a little abdominal warm up here. So we're going to send the hands down by our hips, fingers pointing towards our feet. And then as we inhale, we're going to, if we're on the ground, lift our shoulders. If you're in the chair, you're just going to start to lean towards our right heel. Now you're welcome to touch the foot if it's available or just reach towards it, scrunching the side abdominal muscles. And then exhale through center. You can always rest for a second if you'd like, and then start to lean towards the left ankle. And we'll take this back and forth, this penguin movement at your own pace. Being mindful that we're not just whipping through quickly, often slowly takes more muscle concentration, more muscle toning action. Being mindful to scrunch those abdominal muscles as you waddle your penguin stretch. Great job. Last time, go ahead and balance out both sides. So whichever side you started on, switch it up and finish on the other side. And then stay in that same position as we're going to take a little bit of a bridge, rolling bridges. So if you're in the chair, we have two options. If for a little more support, scoot yourself back to the back of the chair and take your rolling bridges with your upper body rolling over the back of your chair by pressing into your hands and then exhaling to release. Now, if you're feeling a little more flexible today and you'd like to take that lower back bridge, maybe bring your hands down to the chair, and as you inhale, lift those hips and push them away. You can lift them a little or a lot. It's up to you. With a little squeeze of the glutes. And if we're on the floor, same thing. You're squeezing the glutes and lifting the hips and then exhaling to lower, straightening one vertebrae at a time. Continue to roll through the spine at your own pace, lifting and lowering. Again, we're starting to create that chaos of snowflakes within our body. Getting a little bit of movement. All right, last time, go ahead and let the hips come down or straighten through the spine. And then if we're seated on the mat, go ahead and come up to a seated position. Feeling free to put blocks or anything under the hips if you'd like. And we're going to come into some hip mobility next. So we're going to start to bend our knees at a 90-ish degree angle, letting our knees point in one direction and our feet point in the other direction. Now that's whether you're on the mat or in the chair. So our feet are in one direction, our knees are in the other direction. We're going to bring our hands behind us for a little bit of support and then start to roll through your hips, letting the knees and hips and feet roll from one direction to the other, kind of like windshield wiper knees, but a little bit deeper, more hip mobility. And as you Get the hips to one side. Maybe you roll the top hip a little bit deeper, depending on your hip mobility. You can move slow and controlled. Great job. The next time the knees are back in their original starting position, go ahead and pause. Knees in one direction, feet in the other direction. We're in that Z sit. And then we're going to engage our core here just a little bit. So we're going to start to sit up tall through our spine. You're always welcome to bring your hands to a prayer for more of a challenge, and keep them on your lap for more support. Or for the most challenge, you can bring them out wide to a T. With our next exhale, we're going to start to hinge forward over that front shin just a little bit. And then use your core to engage. Come back up to straight. And take a few pulses at your own pace. Hinging forward and then leaning back. Notice how that feels throughout the hips. Or maybe you're noticing it in other areas. Other snowflakes are getting jostled and turned around. Simply notice. Great job. All right, come back up to your straight spine. And then you can go ahead and bring your hands to the chair or to your mat or to a prop just for a little added support. And we're going to try to see if we can lift that back foot off the mat a little or a lot. And it might not come up very far. Lift and lower it just a couple times. Great job. All righty. Go ahead and come back to your straight spine. This time we're going to take that front leg. We're going to send it out long. So we still have the back leg tucked. We're going to send that front leg out long in front of us. And as we lengthen the spine, we inhale. And then with an exhale, start to hinge over that front leg. Hands can stay on your prop, but they can come onto your leg, or they could even wrap around a strap if that's part of your practice. Great job. Inhale to bring it back up to a straight spine. Take the same hand as your back leg, and then we're going to twist and punch over that extended leg, and then reach it back like we're drawing it back into a fist, about to punch something. Punch and twist. Pull it back, load that shoulder joint. Take it at your own pace. Beautiful job. Last time, reach and hold, stretch. Great job. Come back to the straight spine. And then we're going to come back by bending that front knee. Legs are in the same direction, feet are in the same direction. Roll through just a couple more times. Left to right. Great job. Now this time we're going to end with the knees facing in the opposite direction from what we started so that we can get side two. So again, knees in one direction, feet in the other direction. You're doing great. All righty, from here, we're going to start to find our pulse. Hinging forward towards that front leg and then back. Again, you can keep your hands on something for support and bring them to a prayer for more of a challenge, or for even more of a challenge, send them out wide like an airplane. Engaging our core. Great job. Last one. Come up straight. All right. I'm going to work that back leg only. Trying to lift that foot up and down. And it might not lift very high. It might not even lift at all. We're definitely moving that knee in a way it doesn't like to move. You're doing great. Last time. Go ahead and bring it down. Send the front leg out straight. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, begin to hinge over that front leg. Inhale, straight spine. Back arm. Punch and twist. Inhale to bring it back. Squeeze the hand back. Squeeze that shoulder joint. Twist and punch. Take it at your pace. You're doing great. Last time, hold it there. Maybe wiggle the fingers a little bit. Great job. Release. And then let's straighten both legs out. Maybe give them a shake or a wiggle or any movement they might need. You can even hit them with your hands if they're feeling a little funky. And then let's meet me up in a standing position in your own time, in your own way. Maybe grab a drink. We come into our mountain pose. We're standing tall. We're feeling grounded in our space. Your next inhale, let the arms float up. Reach up towards the sky. Feel that length and extension. And then with our next inhale, maybe go into a little back bend, taking the hands and gaze behind the head. Great job. Bring it back through center. Exhale. We're going to start to lean to the right, maybe bringing the right hand to the hip or to a prop as we hinge to the right. Inhale through center. Hinge to the left. Inhale through center. We're going to keep those arms straight, just like in that pulse action a few moments ago. But as we inhale, we're going to twist to the right. One hand in front, one hand behind. Inhale through center. Exhale to the left. Inhale through center. Exhale, cactus the arms, feel that heart opening. And then as the shoulder blades squeeze, let the elbows continue towards the hips. And then hinge into your forward fold. Letting your hands come to rest on the prop, the floor, or your own legs. Top of the head reaching towards the mat. We'll spend just a few moments here. Maybe you keep your hands where they are. Maybe you start to grab opposite elbows and find a little ragdoll, moving left to right. Maybe shaking the head a little. Maybe sliding the jaw. Any movements that feel good in your body here. Go ahead and pause into a little bit of stillness. Let the hands return to their previous location. If you took opposite elbows, we press into the palms. We lift halfway, figure 7. Exhale, hinge into your forward fold. We'll bend the knees, we'll sink the hips, we'll take a slow roll coming all the way back up, tall mountain. And with an exhale, let's bring our hands through heart center back into our mountain pose. And then let's step our right foot back, back, back. We're going to open up wide into a wide-legged position towards the side. You're always welcome to bring your prop like a chair or a block in front of you as we start to settle in to these wide-legged poses. Our inhale, we're going to circle arms up and overhead, 5-pointed star. And then let's take our left hand. We're going to take it across to our right hip or knee, or all the way down to the right foot, or even a prop outside the right foot. And then take the right hand up behind you. Inhale to bring it back to 5-pointed star. Exhale, right hand to left side, twist it up. Inhale, 5-pointed star. We're going to take this twist on your own for just a few cycles of breath. Moving from left to right, going as deep or as shallow as you'd like. Great job. Finish off balancing out both sides. Exhale, release your hands to your hips or to a prop of your choice. And then move your toes in alignment with your heels. So there's a straight edge to the side of your foot. And then with our next exhale, engage that core. Begin to hinge, finding a forward fold. Your hands can rest on anything that they like. Really allow yourself to sink in here, maybe even a gentle bend in the knees, noticing how that lower back feels. One more breath here. Press into your hands to halfway lift. We're going to hold here, engage that core, take those arms wide to a T or onto your prop, and then inhale, rise to 5-pointed star. Great job. Go ahead and bring your hands to your hips or your props. Take your heels towards each other, toes pointed out. This will shorten your stance just a little bit. You're not quite as wide as you just were. Inhale, arms up, 5-pointed star. Exhale, start to bend into the knees, goddess squat. Now take a moment here. Maybe you hinge a little back and forth. Maybe you bounce. Maybe you lift toes. Maybe you lift heels. Settle in. Find a beautiful stillness eventually. But at any point you want to come out and sink back in, feel free to do that. Beautiful job. One last breath here. See if you can sink it a little bit deeper. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Go ahead and take your heels back in alignment with your toes. Now we're in our wider stance position. And we're going to start to take it into one-legged squats, left to right. Now you can keep those pretty shallow. Keep your hands on your hips or a prop. Or if you want to go a little deeper, you're welcome to go a little deeper. Feeling free to lift heels or toes as is appropriate in your body as you move left to right. Great job. All right, one more on each side. Come back through center. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, let the hands circle down. Step the back foot in. Mountain pose at the front of your mat. Beautiful job. Let the arms float up. Hinge to the right. Back through center. Hinge to the left. Inhale through center. Back bend. Inhale, tall mountain. Spiral twist to the right. Inhale through center. Spiral twist to the left. Through center. Exhale, cactus the arms. Take it into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hinge and fold. Bend the knees, sink the hips, roll it up, tall mountain. Beautiful sun salutation. We'll end today's sun salutation back in our prayer pose in our mountain. And then let's move to a plank series. So if you like taking plank or half plank on the mat, you're welcome to do it that way. If you're using your chair or your prop, just make sure it's secured up against something so it doesn't move. And if you're choosing a wall, that's a great option, or a piece of furniture. We'll bring our hands about shoulder distance apart wherever we're choosing to take our plank. We're taking it from a standing position. We'll walk our feet back just enough so that we are still loading the wrist, elbow, and shoulder joint. Our core is engaged here. And if you're on the mat, your knees can be down and toes can be up, or your toes can be down and knees up. But we're keeping ourselves nice and engaged through our core. Beautiful plank position. Now let's take our left hand, slide it directly under our face, and then start to open the right hand out as we come into a side plank. Beautiful job. We'll find a little rotation here as we take that right hand and thread the needle between the rib cage and the grounded arm. And then inhale to roll it back over. You can even take that top hand back behind you, opening the shoulder a little bit towards the ceiling. And then take this at your own pace. Feeling that torso rotation. Great job. All right, inhale to open up wide. Exhale, come back through plank. And then let's move that right hand directly under your face and open up to the opposite side. As you're ready, start to thread that left arm under the right. Opening up, feeling that twist through the torso. Stirring up all those crazy snowflakes. All right, exhale, bring it back through your plank of choice. And then we're going to take plank step outs. So we're going to take our right foot, step it out to the side, and tuck the toe. Bring it back, left. Take it left to right. Plank step outs. Make sure you're engaging through your core. You're not sticking your hips way back here, but you're sucking your core in to keep your spine straight. Great job. Balance out both sides, end on the opposite foot. Come back to your plank. And then we're going to take an inchworm to downward dog. So we're going to stay in our plank. Begin to walk your feet back, lift your hips, come into downward dog. Roll through your spine, walk it back to your plank. And take this at your own pace. Moving between downward dog and the plank of your choice. Doing great. Last breath, ending on a downward facing dog. Take a moment to settle in there. Take a big breath and maybe a sigh on your exhale out. Great job. From here, we're going to find a cobra pose. So if you're taking this from a standing position, you're going to walk yourself as close to your prop as you can, keeping your hands where they are. You're going to start to roll the shoulders back, lift the heart, lift the gaze, pressing into your hands. From the mat, you'd come down onto your knees and lower down to the belly. Keep your hands under your shoulders, flip to the tops of your feet, press into those hands. Take it into your back bend a little or a lot. And then just like those rolling bridges, let's take a few rolling cobras, pressing into your hands to roll through those upper spine, exhaling to straighten it back. All right, we're going to come in just to a little bit of a shoulder stretch here. So if you're laying on the ground for a cobra, go ahead and stay there. And start to send the arms out wide to a T and send the legs long behind you. If you're taking this from a standing position, my suggestion is coming up to a flat surface like a wall or something in your environment. We're going to put our torso against it. We take our right arm out long and then start to roll your left hip away from the surface. And this will create a nice stretch through that shoulder joint. If you're on the mat, you can use your left hand as a prop. You can use your left foot as a kickstand, either in front of or behind your other leg. And the more you've lifted that opposite hip, the deeper the stretch is in that shoulder. So if you're looking for a little less of a stretch, simply bring yourself down to a slightly less intense angle. And the same goes true with the wall variation. If you're flat, you're not really feeling anything. If you're about a 45-degree angle from the wall, you might feel a different sensation than if you're at a 90-degree from the wall. Also, how close you are to the wall, how much space is in between you and the wall will affect how intense it is on that shoulder. And then your head can rest against the surface, the wall, floor, maybe a prop or a pillow. You're doing great. One more breath of this stretch. You can always adjust this stretch by walking the hand closer to your hip or closer towards your head, depending on what your body needs in this stretch today. All right, exhale to release. Take the arms out to a T. We're going to switch sides. Yeah, second side. Start to lift that opposite hip away from the surface that it's resting on. Spend a few moments here, just like we did on the other side. We're going to spend them in a little bit of silence, letting our breath begin to calm the snowflakes that are fluttering through our minds, through our bodies. Beautiful. One last breath here. Allow yourself to sink in and enjoy. Beautiful job. Exhale to release your hips flat. And then let's push ourselves back into a puppy pose, letting our elbows come to the mat if we're on the floor, hands parallel, fingers interlaced, and then starting to walk the knees back as we keep the hips high, sinking the forehead towards the mat or towards a prop. You're taking this from our standing. You can do the same thing on the wall. Walk yourself back, let your forehead rest. Or I prefer puppy pose on the chair, just bringing pillow or blanket to the back of the chair, letting my elbows rest, and then walking it back. Keep a generous bend in your knees no matter where you're at. Your hands can be parallel, they can be in a prayer. You can even start to bend the elbows, letting that prayer come towards the back of your head, if that feels good in your practice. Big, beautiful breath of stillness here. Starting to let that snow globe start to settle down. Emotions, feelings, and sensations start to swirl into stillness with each gentle breath. Now you can stay in puppy pose. If you'd like to go a little deeper, start to extend the arms out long and sink into the knees, sink into the hips for a child's pose. Knees wide, heels towards each other. Taking from a chair pose, you can stay standing, or you can come to the seated child's pose if that is more comfortable in your body. Knees are still wide. Hands can be resting on your own body, or you could stretch them out onto the surfaces around you. Great job. All right, start to come out of your child's pose, and we'll find our way onto our backs into a reclined position. So if you're in a chair, I like to add a pillow here so my hips stay forward, my shoulders are back, but I have a little bit more support. And then hug in the right knee and take a few right ankle rolls. And then reverse them. Find stillness through the ankle. Bring that right knee outside of the right rib cage as we take a half happy baby, a 90-ish degree bend in the knee. You can hold anywhere on the foot, the ankle, your pant leg, even holding behind the leg if that feels good, or using your strap. Great job. Exhale, release that leg into a constructive rest. Inhale, hug opposite knee in, ankle rolls. Reverse them. Find stillness in the ankle. Half happy baby. Letting that knee fall outside the rib cage. 90-ish degree bend in the knee. Great job. Exhale to release that foot into constructive rest. And then take the feet wider than hip distance. And we'll windshield wiper the knees. Not quite as deep as those hip mobility rolls we were doing earlier, but still moving left to right through the hip joints, through the lower back. Great job. Inhale to come through center into your constructive rest. We'll end today's class with a restorative pose of legs up the wall. For a few different options of getting into your legs up the wall. If you're on the mat and you don't have a wall nearby, you're more than welcome to grab a block, putting it under the hips in a bridge pose, and then lifting those feet. As self-contained legs up the wall. If you do have a wall or a piece of furniture of any height nearby, start to swivel the hips as close or as far from that prop as you'd like, and then send the legs up high. And as always, if you're taking this from a chair, your options are just as limited, just as abundant. You can stay in your reclined position, find a piece of prop next to you that you can bring your feet up onto. Just having them up off the ground is a goal, but if you can get them up so they're a little higher than your heart, that is our sweet spot. So if another piece of furniture doesn't give that to you, you could bring your chair up to a piece of furniture. Or if you have a couch or bed nearby, that's always a great option, is to be able to lay down and bring your feet up to the back or the side. Your legs can be straight. There can be a bend in the knees. You can point or flex the ankles if you'd like. You could add a little cushion on your belly, or maybe something to cover your eyes if you'd like. As we settle into our breath here, let's end the class with 5 of those laughing breaths. Inhaling fully and at your own pace. And then after your 5th one, to find your regular natural breath. And just let the energy ring through your body. Now, legs up the wall is a great restorative pose that you can stay in through the end of our meditation if that feels like it would be comfortable in your body. If it would not be comfortable at any point, whether that's now or in the next few moments, feel free to start to bring your legs down. Roll to one side, or make any adjustments so that you can start to come into a reclined position or a relaxed position of your choice. Feel free to add pillows, blankets, sweaters, or socks to move to someplace a little different or comfortable. Any of these are great options as we settle into our final resting pose. We start to take whatever adjustments so that we can relax on command. Now, as we settle in, maybe We find the most comfortable sitting or laying position. We begin to allow our bodies to relax, maybe even gently closing our eyes or softening our gaze. And take a deep, slow breath in, and then slowly release, letting go of any tension as we take a moment to embark on this journey together. We'll begin to imagine ourselves in a cozy, warm cabin nestled deep into a wintry forest. Outside, the wind howls, and a thick blanket of snow covers the ground. You can hear the sound of the storm. It's a blizzard. The wind swirling and the snowflakes dancing in the air. The trees sway and bow under the weight of the snow, their branches reaching out like gentle hands. You're standing in the heart of a winter landscape, wrapped in the quiet hush, freshly fallen snow. And as you sit comfortably inside, looking out through the frosty window, you notice the mesmerizing dance of the snowflakes. Each one is unique, swirling and twirling in its own path before gently settling onto the ground. The snow continues to fall, creating a pristine white landscape. The world around you is in the midst of a blizzard, winds howling, snow swirling wildly in every direction. The air is thick with movement, a flurry of white that makes it hard to see what's out ahead. The storm is neither angry nor punishing. It simply moves with a force of its own, just as our thoughts and emotions sometimes do. Now, can you imagine holding a snow globe in your hands and you give it a gentle shake and the snow inside starts to swirl around the miniature scene just like outside the window? The snowflakes inside the globe dance and twirl, creating a beautiful chaos. But soon the snow begins to settle, slowly descending to the bottom. The scene inside the globe becomes calm and serene, a peaceful winter wonderland. And as you watch the snow settle in the globe, maybe sensing a calmness start to wash over you. The chaos of the blizzard has transformed into a tranquil, peaceful scene, trusting that just like the snow, peace will naturally settle within you as well. You decide to put your coat on, wrapping it around you tightly, and then open the cabin door. You step your feet out into the snow, and with each breath, you feel more anchored. Slowly, the raging winds begin to ease, The snow outside, once chaotic, starts to drift more gently around you, twirling softly towards the earth. The world hushes. The last wisp of the wind sigh through the branches, and then stillness. Like the snow globe that had just been shooken, the flurry settles. Each flake finds its place resting on the beautiful landscape, on the bare branches, on the rooftops and frozen streams. A hush blankets the world. Breathe in this quiet. Breathe in the peace that was always here, waiting beneath the storm. And as you walk through this snow-covered landscape, notice how the earth cradles the silence. The lake before you, once rippling in the wind, has become like a sheet of glass, reflecting the silver sky. The trees, heavy with soft snow, stand in effortless stillness. Even the air seems to hold a new softness, crisp and light against the skin. Now start to focus on your breath. Inhale deeply, filling your lungs with the crisp, cool air. And then exhale slowly, releasing any remaining tensions. And with each breath, imagine the snowflakes inside the globe settling down, bringing a sense of stillness, of tranquility. The blizzard has passed, and the world is now covered in a soft, glistening layer of snow. The trees stand tall and proud, their branches adorned with delicate icicles that shimmer in the soft light. The air is still, and a profound silence envelops the forest around you. It's as if the entire world has paused to appreciate the beauty of this moment. And as you breathe in this peacefulness, allow your body and mind to become more and more relaxed, trusting that peace is your natural state of being as well. Just like the snowflakes in the globe, when the storm of thoughts and emotions settle, you too will find clarity and serenity within. Can you allow yourself to bask in the tranquility for just a few more moments? Breathing deeply and slowly as you feel the peace within you growing stronger with each breath, spreading throughout your entire body. This peace is not something you must reach for. It is not something you must create. It is simply there, beneath every storm, beneath every swirling thought, just like the snow finds its way to the earth. Your breath guides you back to the stillness. As we take these last few breaths here, resting in the quiet of this winter landscape, each inhale drawing in the crisp, fresh air, each exhale settling you deeper into the calm that has been within you all along. Now, when you're ready, start to bring your awareness back into your body, feeling the warmth of your breath and the support, the props that are underneath you. We'll take the deepest breath of our day so far. As we gently wiggle fingers and toes and even flutter the eyes open, carrying our peace with us, knowing it is always there, always your natural state of being. And in your own time and in your own way, come up to an upright position facing me. Thank you. Until next time.